American Top 40.
You're listening to American Top 40, and I'm Shadoe Stevens. Now we're up to a recent #1 song by the act who couldn't even break the Billboard Hot 100, much less the Top 40, until they released a video and everybody got a look at them. They're the four-man band from Los Angeles, Poison, and hey, these are four very visual guys. They've all got long, wild hair, colored different on any given day, flashy clothes dipped in glitter, and tons of makeup. Truckloads of it. And back in 1986, Poison was, well, chart Poison. They released their debut album, Look What the Cat Dragged In, and by the beginning of 1987, it had peaked at 110 on the album chart and was falling. The first single, called Cry Tough, didn't even make Billboard's Hot 100 singles chart. They did a quick video for it, but MTV wouldn't play it. Poison was about to start recording another album and give up on their debut when at the last minute their record company decided to give it another shot. So they made a video for a second single, Talk Dirty to Me, and they spent a little more money on this one. It featured lots of close-ups of the band and all their glam glory, the makeup and the heavy metal hair. MTV picked up on this one and it became one of their most requested videos. Well, kids saw the video and started buying the record, and radio stations began playing it, and then the album exploded. It had slipped on the chart all the way to 191, but then it shot back up 22 notches the first week. Over the next few months, it climbed all the way up the chart to number 3. The single Talk Dirty to Me went to number 9 on the pop chart, and Poison was on their way thanks to the big video god in the sky.
Casey's Top 40.
CT40 originates in Hollywood. Well, now we're up to a group that doesn't want to be known as just another band of headbangers, and they don't want to be called glam rockers either, despite their appearance. It's the substance that counts, says Poison, not the style. Here they are, moving 3 notches to come in at a very fashionable number 15 with Your Mama Don't Dance.
Casey's Top 40.
I'm Mark Elliott for Casey Kasem. You know, most groups pick names they think people will like. Well, now we're up to a band that took their name in order to annoy people who hate their music. They're a band who used to call themselves Paris. That was back when they were playing in their hometown of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. But when they moved to Los Angeles to seek fame and fortune, they found there was already another band in town called Paris. So the members of this group began to search for a new name. And while they looked, they ran into a lot of people who hated their style of music, heavy metal. And this really upset the four-man group. They were proud of the heavy metal music they played, and they didn't mind who knew it. And since they knew they would never win their critics over, they chose a name that would needle them instead, a name that would irritate them, just like waving a red cape in front of a charging bull. As the band's lead singer Bret Michaels says, quote, "No bones about it, we're Poison, and we're proud of it." They're also proud of the 7 top 40 hits they've scored since their chart debut in 1987. Here's Unskinny Bob.
Now let's find out what some rock stars might be doing for a living if they weren't rockin'. It's something you might have wondered. And the lead singer of one of the hottest bands in the countdown did a little speculating. Bret Michaels of Poison offered his ideas on career alternatives for the band to writer Dan Hedges. Bret started with himself, revealing that he always feels the need for speed. Bret said, "I think I'd definitely be a motocross racer." And then there's Poison drummer Ricky Rocket, often called the band's most congenial member. Bret said Ricky definitely likes people, so he'd probably pursue a career in public relations or hotel management. And next he was asked about Poison's guitarist C.C. DeVille. Bret thought about that one for a moment, and then he said he's obnoxious, so he'd be a game show host. And finally there's Poison's bass player Bobby Dahl. He's got a logical head for money matters, can win arguments and talk his way out of anything, so what might Bobby be doing if he hadn't turned to rock and roll? Bret said he would definitely be a lawyer on Wall Street. But that would be good, I guess, because we'd get ourselves out of trouble that way. That's singer Bret Michaels speculating on career alternatives for Poison.
Casey's Top 40.
Radio plays them, Radio and Records ranks them, and we count them down on Casey's Top 40. Holding steady at number 38, here's Poison with a song co-written by all 4 members of the band. It's about guitarist C.C. DeVille's difficult breakup with his girlfriend. Here's C.C. DeVille, lead singer Bret Michaels, and the band Poison with Life. goes on.
Casey's biggest hits.
2 years ago this week, one of the biggest hits in the USA was by Poison, a heavy metal band that made its mark arriving at clubs in a used ambulance with sirens blaring and lights flashing. Back in their early days, the members of Poison wanted to do something to make them stand out from all the other heavy metal acts. They had taken their makeup and outfits as far as their money would allow. They couldn't crank up their amps any louder. And then one day, lead singer Bret Michaels found an old, beat-up ambulance on sale in a used car lot for $300. And at that moment, he knew he had the answer. Pooling every cent they had, the band bought that beat-up ambulance, and it became their trademark. When fans at a club heard loud sirens blaring and saw bright lights flashing, they knew Poison was on the way.
Casey's Top 40.
I'm Casey Kasem. Now we're up to the current hit for Poison, a band whose leader is so tough on instruments, a world-famous guitar company hired him to try and destroy their guitars. His name is Bret Michaels, and he's famous for playing his 12-string acoustic guitar so hard that by the time he's finished, there's nothing much left but a bunch of splinters held together by the strings. Unlike the legendary antics of the band called The Who, Bret doesn't smash his instrument. He actually plays it to death. And that's how Bret came to be hired by the world-famous Gibson Guitar Company. You see, they make what many consider to be the best 12-string guitar ever. And Gibson wants to make a model that's even better by making it stronger. So they've hired Bret to test drive their prototypes. Once they have a sample together, they send it to Bret. He takes the guitar, puts it through the paces, playing as hard as he can, not trying to intentionally break the guitar, but testing the limits of its endurance. After Bret is finished, the guitar is sent back to the Gibson workshops, where it's closely examined to find out which parts might be weak and which parts need strengthening. And when both Bret and Gibson are satisfied they have a winner, it'll be put on sale to the public. And what will it be named? What else but the Bret Michaels Gibson? This week, Bret Michaels is giving his regular 12-string guitar workout, playing survey song number 23 on Casey's Top 40. Here he is with the band Poison and Stan.
American Top 20.
Well, now we're up to an American Top 20 extra by Poison, a band that's been together 25 years. Bret Michaels is the lead singer of Poison. He says, "We formed back in 1983. Over the years, we've done shows with hundreds of rock bands, and most of them are gone. But we're still here because we came up with a business plan at the beginning. That plan involved keeping the publishing rights to all the band's songs, keeping the rights to all the merchandise sold at their shows, even booking their own tours so they don't have to split the profits." Bret says, quote, "I've always signed the checks for our road crew. I've never let anyone else have power of attorney. We make all our own decisions." To which he adds, "That isn't the fun part. It's hard work, but we're still here, and we've got money in the bank. So it's all worthwhile." Now, here's Poison with a song that did a lot for their bank account from 1988, their biggest hit, "Every Rose Has Its Thorn."
And now I hear you found somebody new, and that I never meant that much to you. To hear that tears me up inside, and to see you cuts me like a knife.
Casey counts them down.